Hello, this is Kevin Sullivan from Evolve IP. I am our Director of Solutions Engineering for our compute practice, and I'm here today to talk to you about our Workspace portal. So our Workspace portal is the back-end portal for configuration for all of your users, your published application permissions, and your published desktop permissions through Evolve IP's Workspace solution. So what we're going to focus on today is the creation of new users, modification of user accounts, and the association of those users to the applications or desktops that you have deployed within your Workspace solution. So let's get started by logging into our portal here. We're going to just supply our credentials. And once we're in, we'll be presented with a very similar looking directory structure view. Now, if you've ever worked in Active Directory to create, modify, or delete user accounts, this is going to look and feel very familiar. So to create a new user, we'll see we're already in the user space, so we can simply click on Add here. And now we can supply some generic user information. So for today's purposes, we'll just call our user test user 22. And we'll make our display name test user 22 to go along with that. And lastly, we will make our login name also test user 22. And we'll set a relatively generic password here, because we're going to delete this account upon creation. Apologies. Okay, and now as an administrator, here's where you would have the ability in a normal use case to decide whether a user must change their password on the next login. For today's purposes, again, we'll leave this at no. We can choose what role a user should have within the organization. So do we wish for this to be a regular user, a department admin who, in your configuration might have the ability to publish or unpublish applications or associate applications or desktops with a user, or a company admin who would obviously have control of the entirety of this environment. So for our test user, we're going to make this a regular company user. Now we have the ability here to have some generic self-service password reset information as well with a challenge question and response, but we're going to leave this blank for today's purposes. This is something that would certainly be an option for you, and there are some other options that are part of our clear login solution as well for user self-service password reset, which we can definitely speak more about as it pertains to your specific implementation of this solution. So we have our user information in here. We're going to click on save, and this will now create that user account. And once it does, we will see our test user 22 is now in our list of users, and we have some additional options here with that user we just created. So the association between this user account and the applications that you have published as part of your Workspace solution, or the desktop that you have published as part of your Workspace solution, is done through the idea of services. So when we create a user, by default, the identity service is already established. If we click on the Add button, you'll see we have a few other options for services we can add here as well. So we have the Citrix Zen App Service and the Zen Desktop Service. We'll start with the Zen App Service. So this is the service that allows you to associate published applications with your user. You can see once we select it, there isn't any additional configuration that's required here. It's just a matter of hitting the Save button, and now we have that app available, that service plan available with our user. So let's go back and we'll look at the other service plan as well. So we can see here we're back to our service plan screen. We click on the Add button again, and we can select the Citrix Zen Desktop service also. You can see we have a couple different options in here. So this would be for associating a published desktop session with the user that we just created, and we can select which licensing level we would want that user to have. So here in our demo environment, we have a standard and a pro license. We'll choose our standard. This would really associate with what licenses you as an organization have available in your Workspace tenant, which is going to really be driven by what the application load and resource requirements are for the users who are leveraging Workspace solution to receive their published applications and or published desktops. Now, once we selected our license level, we get to choose the amount of allocated size for our user profile data. So here we have a default of 10 gigs. Again, this may vary within your organization depending upon what you specifically contract for and what your user storage requirements are, as well as where your users are storing their files. But for our demo purposes and for today, we'll leave this at its 10 gig default. And we just simply click on Save. And now we can go back, we can close out of our available services, and we can close out of our service plans. Now, here's where we would have the ability to very easily come in and add applications for this specific user, but we're actually going to focus on a different way of doing this today. So we're going to show you how to add applications, not just to a single user, but potentially to multiple users simultaneously. So to do that, we're back at our main screen here, and we go to Service Management. Once we're within Service Management, we see our available services that we have to offer. We select our Apps and Desktop service. And now we have a list of all of the applications and the desktops that are available for publication to our users. So these are all of the apps that are installed within our proof of concept or demo environment of our Workspace solution for ourselves. So you can see here we have Bluebeam Review, which is a PDF editing utility. We have our published desktop. We have PDF Architect, which we can exclude for today's purposes. We have our QuickBooks application, which is accounting software, and we have Microsoft Word. So for today, let's select Bluebeam Review. We'll select our desktop, we'll select QuickBooks and Word, and we will choose to add these applications to a user or users. So here we could select any of these users which we wish, or multiple ones, but for today's purposes, again, we're going to focus on test user 22. So now that we've selected that user, we simply come back up here. We click on the Add button. Are we sure that we wish to add? Yes, we are. And now we can see we have those applications added to that user. To verify that, let's close out of our service management and go back to our users. And we'll check test user 22. And we will go into service management, our apps and desktops. And we can see those applications that we just added are now available here for this user. Now, for a one-off for this specific user, if we also wanted to go in to add an additional application, we can select, hey, we still have PDF Architect here as an option. So let's add that to test user 22 as well, so that he has the option of using Bluebeam or PDF Architect. And as simple as that, with 2 button clicks, we've now associated that application with that user. So this is just a quick demonstration to show you how quick and easy it is to create your user accounts, to modify them, and to associate them with published applications and published desktops within your specific Workspaces tenant. As always, if you have any additional questions or if there's additional information which we can provide for you which may be helpful, we would love to have that conversation and love to talk to you about how our Workspaces solution might be a good fit for your organization's needs when it comes to client computing. As always, please feel free to reach out to us at Evolve IP via our marketing department or via your CTA, your technology advisor, or your channel advisor. Thanks very much. Hope you have a great day.